Hey folks, and welcome back to Glenn and Adrian's Rock Talk. That's Adrian.
And that's Glenn.
And today we're breaking ground on a band that we've never actually talked about before, possibly you haven't heard of before. They got some traction in the 80s and 90s, but had a hard time breaking through into the mainstream. The name of the band is Died Pretty, and they are from Australia. They're an alternative rock band, and my first exposure to them was their Free Dirt album, which came out in 1986 and is a fine record, by the way. It's probably their best album. I bought it sight unseen, loved it immediately. I've always enjoyed the band. They've always been kind of off the radar. Unfortunately, recently, I guess it was 2023, their lead singer passed away, Ron S. Pano. He left behind some pretty good music, I must say. I particularly like their first couple albums and then another one called Doughboy Hollow. This song we're looking at today is off Doughboy Hollow. That came out in 1991. The song is DC. The singer actually kind of takes on a little bit of Bob Dylan's style, sometimes. And other times he kind of croons a bit. So it goes back and forth. He's also got kind of a raspy voice. He's got a very distinct voice. And he's not always directly on the pitch, but he doesn't need to be for this music. And they can really rock out. I mean, they did well as an alternative rock band. This is when they're a little bit smoother and they're trying to go for the gold. This is the album where they're trying to become a bigger name. And it just didn't happen to work out, which is too bad. I always thought this was a pretty good song, so I thought I'd bring it in. There is a video, so we're going to watch the music video. So, Adrian, have you run across Died Pretty before?
I've heard of a couple albums. I've heard the Pre-Deity and I've heard Doughboy Hollow.
Yeah, that's right. Pre-Deity, I think, was the name of an EP that came out first. And it's actually really, really good if you run across it. And their next release was the Free Dirt album, which is the one I picked up. We'll get a little bit more into that later on. Why don't we go ahead and play the song, and people can tell us if you've ever heard it before. Let's discuss afterwards. Let's take a look at their video.
Okay.
Diamonds that you hurled out. This is just to say goodbye. This is just to say goodbye.
So what'd you think, Adrian?
Wow, it was a pretty cool song, I thought, and singer kind of sounds like, to me, like Mark Hollis of Talk Talk.
Oh, yeah, he's got a little of that. He does have a little bit of that. I think that's fair. You know what else it gives me the vibe of is The Church, who are an Australian band, just like they were. And they're still around, sort of. At this point, it's just one original member, Steve Kilby, who did all the writing and was the lead singer. As recently as, a dozen years ago, the whole band was still pretty much together, I think aside from the drummer. That was a great band. Another one, though, that people didn't really hear about that much. At least The Church had one massive hit in America and a few other lesser hits. But they're largely unknown, just like this band is. So that's too bad. I think it's really well done writing. It emotes a particular way. They're also somewhat punkish in their earlier years, but also psychedelia was in there. I mean, alternative rock, I think, is a really good label for this band. They did have a rougher sound, for the Free Dirt album that I was talking about earlier, like their very first album, and for that Pre-Deity EP. But it smoothed out a bit for this particular record because I think they were really trying to, start making some money, which is hard enough regardless. Didn't quite work out, unfortunately, but I think that this album is worth people's time. If you ever run across Doughboy Hollow, it'll probably be in a bargain bin. Check it out. It's a good album, and it's all kind of along the lines of this. There's a lot of good material on there. I did cover a few of their songs at one point in a band I was in 15, 20 years ago. And I mean live, at the live gigs, I would play this song and also another one called Free Dirt, which got noticed when I put it up on YouTube later. I'm not sure where it is anymore, but I had a MySpace page, and one of the guys in the band reached out and said, "Hey, good job on that." And I was surprised. I'm like, thank you very much. And then later, a woman left a comment saying, "This song is about me." So I was like, okay, that's cool. I think they're a worthwhile band. If you're going to look at them, start with Doughboy Hollow and then go to Free Dirt would be my recommendation.
Looking at the video, one thing that struck me, it being black and white, tells me this is from around 1990.
There were some videos that came out in black and white. I think the thing was, this is a band that was not making a lot of money, and they were trying to make it big. You'll note that this video was very cheap. There were no extras in there. It was just them dancing around, basically, and performing the song, and that was it. And black and white film is what you would have been using at the time. It was pre-digital, and it's far cheaper than color. So that's my guess, is why it was in black and white. Well, anyway, folks, why don't you give your thoughts on this, and let us know if the band is new to you, if you've never heard of them before, or if you knew this song. If you ever saw them, let me know what that experience was like. I really would have liked to have seen the band, but I can't recall them coming to America at a time when I would have been in a good place to actually see them. I don't remember if they ever came to the East Coast. Give your thoughts. Maybe we'll check out something else by them in the future. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. And if you enjoyed the presentation, please subscribe. All right, thanks so much for joining us today. We'll catch you on the next one. Take care, folks.
See you all later.